All right, hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to talk about truck sales for the quarter so far, what we got going on for the first half of the year. We're going to dive into that. GM Authority does this perfect layout chart here for us, and we're also going to talk about some cool things that I'm seeing here at the end of this, such as these bumper options that we're seeing here for Colorado kind of stuff and things like that. So we're going to dive into that. But first off, let's talk about the truck sales here. So, first of all, we come down here to this main chart right here. This is our mid-size mainstream pickup truck second quarter, but it also gives us year-to-date 25 versus year-to-date 2024 over here. So, and the change that's happened. We have 3 of them in the red, or 2 trucks in the red, basically. In the red, meaning that sales went down. Nissan Frontier dropped for this quarter, and it dropped for year over year from last year. It dropped, dropped 23.43%, and the the Canyon is down for this quarter, but still up for the year so far. That's what we're seeing on here. We can also come down here and see how the Ridgeline is doing. I don't know why they put it in a separate one. We do not have the Maverick on here. It is not considered a mid-size truck. Same with the Santa Cruz, but let's take a look at these and break each one of them down individually, because there's a lot to be said, not only about the truck sales, but also the people who are buying these. So a couple things to note. First of all, if we look at, let's take the top 3 here, these top 3 rows, okay, right, well, whatever it's doing right here, but these top 3 sections, the Tacoma, the Colorado, and the Ranger, all top 3 shares. What do they have in common? That the Frontier and the Gladiator. Now remember, this Canyon is basically a Colorado too, so remove that from the equation. But you got the top 3 here, and then you have these 2 here at the very bottom. What do the top 3 have that the bottom 2 do not? A turbo engine. Pretty interesting when you think about that. Look at the sheer volume of sales numbers here. Okay, 130, 131,000, 53,000, 33,000 for, these are turbo engines. Okay, these make up a massive amount of the overall sale, how many of these things are being sold. Look at here, 46%, 17, and so if we do the math on that, and we take a quick peek at it, if we go from this column right here for 25, second quarter sales, we're at 46, plus 17, plus 12, plus the Canyon is plus 9, puts us at 84% of people buying a mid-size truck are buying it with a turbo. And then that doesn't even take into account down there again. This one here is a Ridgeline, should be part of this, in my opinion. I don't know why they don't keep it up there. It's because it's not body on frame, I'm guessing. But since it's out, we'll leave it out of here. But look at 84% of people buying a mid-sized truck today are buying a turbo. Yet look at on the comment sections of my video. I don't want no stinking turbos. I'll never buy no stinking turbo. I'll never have a turbo. Well, apparently 84% of mid-sized truck buyers are happy to buy and buying it with turbo engines in them. That's how all 3 of these come. Sadly, on the other side, look at here. Okay, on the reverse side of that, look at the number, the drop here. How, the Gladiator, we're getting a little rise. That's a very nice thing. But look at how the naturally aspirated engine ones are not doing quite so well. In a world, it's kind of sad. It's really sad what's happening with, we're down for year to date for 24 over 25. We're down almost 25% for the Frontier. It's disgusting. But it goes to show a lot of things. It goes to show that people truly don't understand that truck. They don't understand what that truck is. Now, people argue that. You're going to hear it in the comments on how people do understand it. Nobody wants it. It's junk. This kind of stuff. That truck is a incredible truck with such longevity, simplicity, reliability. It's got all those factors yet. Many of them. Now, let's actually break down the sales individually on my thoughts. Tacoma. Why is the Tacoma up 88%? It's up, excuse me. It's up 88% because remember, in 2024, it wasn't even available till halfway through the year. So those numbers are skewed. Okay, but it is selling very big. We are expecting it's huge. Look, 131,000 of them. They are selling big. Why are they selling big? Why is it that we believe they are selling so big? I believe that number is Tacoma's number 1 is because they are actually dealing. That's my opinion. You can argue that the Tacoma was the number 1 sales guy for all these years in the past too and all that, and I get it. However, The Tacoma used to be a naturally aspirated V6 engine, bulletproof reliability, super affordable, and it is not any of those things anymore. So technically, the last one should have been down in this category here too. But with this new one, Toyota did it right. I mean, look at, they have stayed at the top in a time when everybody's dumping out on the naturally aspirated stuff and moving into the turbo world. Tacoma saw it coming. They did it. They made it happen. They're on fire. And now, though, I do believe for the first time in history, we are seeing massive deals on Toyota Tacomas that we would never see in the past before. People used to brag when they got, when they would literally get like $3,000 or $2,500 off of a new Tacoma. And now we're seeing some of these deals $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 off on these things, which is, they made the truck more American-like. They made it more like an American truck. American quality of standards, American styling, American turbo engines, American design, American, everything, and they are starting to deal like America. The Toyota Tacoma is becoming an American-type truck, and it's winning people over. They think they're still getting a Japanese truck. They're not. But they think they're getting that, and they think they're getting great deals, and they are. But this is the world that's happening. This is my opinion why Toyota is still at the top on here. The truck is a good truck. It's made by a good company, and it is dealing very well. And they went to a turbo, which everybody seems to want, as we see. So whether you do or you don't, or I do or I don't, doesn't matter. It's what the world wants. And when it comes to truck sales, the Tacoma is leading the way. Again, for getting these random, up 88%, up 48%, all depends on when the vehicle, how many vehicles were available at the time during that quarter or during that year. But what matters is this number right here. 100, and so far this halfway through the year, so that means that Toyota is going to probably sell close to 300,000, 250 to 300,000 most likely is where they're going to probably be at. With December sales, things like that, they're probably going to come in somewhere close to 300,000 Tacomas that they've sold, where Chevy Colorado, who's in number 2, will come in at about 100,000 or 110,000. That's almost a 3-to-1 ratio just between those two trucks. That's huge. Colorado is holding strong, doing well. You can see it right here. It's up. It's quarter-wise over last quarter. Not a big change, but only 0.25%. But it is up so far year to date, up 26.8. Again, take it for what it's worth. But the real number is this: we're at 53,000 for the first half of 2025 for the Colorado. Put in the Canyon with that too, and we're at 18 because they are twins. So if you put those together, you're literally about half of what the Tacoma sells on here. And Colorado's do deal very well also. Ranger's problem is Ford just doesn't make any of them. There's like 9 of them. They make 9 a year. Okay, obviously I'm kidding by the sales, but they just don't make many of them. Look at the years, how many sold in 2024. It wasn't because people weren't buying them. It was because they just don't make them. Look at this, up 117%. Why? Because they're finally starting to make some of these trucks and put them on the lots. I don't know if they were holding them back to try and get more people to buy F-150s or what their game was, but Ford plays a lot of stupid games, and their truck sales are starting to rebound now a little bit from that. The Frontier, like I said, the Frontier is the one that really bums you out. Down almost 10,000 trucks, almost a 24% drop. That is very, very sad. And what makes it sad is that many of us don't care what anybody else buys. But we love the Frontier. And loving a Frontier is one thing, but if you're Nissan and you're building the Frontier and you see this crap and then you see what's going on here and you see what's going on here and you see what's going on here and you see what's going on right here, even your attitude goes, you know what? We have to jump up there. We have to turbocharge it. We have to make it like this. We got to do whatever we can to get it in here and get it up here where people want it. So us that love the Frontier for what it is in all of its pure beauty and durability and strength and robustness and longevity and quality that it has, we're going to miss out because the masses decide what the market is, and the masses have decided this is where the market needs to be. So naturally, Nissan is going to fight to get into this category. Gladiator went up 27.21% this last quarter. Did a very good job. They are up only a couple over last year, but they're up. That's a nice thing. They've been going down and down. They are now up 8%. So it's a very good thing. Hopefully it continues. And GMC Canyon, like I said, fits right in with the Colorado. So there's our sales numbers for this so far. Now, as far as the bumper, why I brought it up, look at this bumper on this AT4X for the AEV edition. Look at this front bumper setup. Love that on here. So I went over and looked. AEV has bumpers, but they are not available. Front bumpers not available yet for a 23 or newer Colorado unless you have the AEV edition. Now they do. Look at here. I wish they would bring this back. Look at this. AEV front receiver for 21 to 22 Colorado ZR2 for $700. I would buy that in a heartbeat. That would allow me to put my winch on the front and back. This would be my #1 ad install that I would put if they offered this for a 2023 and newer. When they do, this will be my #1 ad onto this truck right there. But again, I don't know if they can with the turbocharged intercoolers and stuff in there, but that is gold right there to see that front mounted hitch on there. I can plug my winch in on my winch cradle, have it set up right there, a recovery point if I want to use a snatch block right there. Win-win all the way around. Speaking of which, they do have, though, for the ZR2, they do have that front bumper we just looked at. This is all the stuff that comes with it too. Lockout kits, protect, clearance things to put that front bumper on there, and it is gorgeous. About 8-hour install time, they're saying, and that doesn't even come with the windshield, but it is $3,200 with that in there. That and then if you want the radiator skid plate, you're adding $375. And then if you want the, you get the closeout kit in here. If you want the come up winch, they're charging you for a 9,000-pound winch. They're charging you $2,200 for a come-up winch, making it a $6,000 upgrade. And then you want the closeout kit for the ZR2 to close that off and make it look nice. So this kit that you see here on the front, what you see right here, insanely priced from AEV, but AEV is great products, but you are $6,000 for that. That's pretty crazy. You can come over here and look at DV8. DV8's got some pretty ones. I love a rear bumper because it has recovery points, which is important if I'm running a hitch on a hitch or a winch on a hitch cradle in here. I want a recovery point like the Gladiator has. Well, they give you one right here, but look at $900 for that one there. You can also come over here and do front bumpers. Hold on. And 23, 24, here it is. This is new Colorado. And like front bumpers, DV8's got front bumpers on here too, but we're $900 for a rear bumper. Here you go, right here. You look at this. You're at $1,100 for this one. This is a pretty good looking bumper. Look at the front of this. That's a pretty sweet setup. And it's set up and ready for a winch in there as well too. So, I mean, again, done very well. This DV8 is a pretty sweet setup, not going to lie. I think that's a pretty dang good looking bumper that they put on that thing. So anyway, a little food for thought on the bumper stuff. Any questions on this or the truck sales or what's going on with things, put them down below. Thanks for watching.